Michigan out here today?
70 and sunny, baby. That's what we'd say in Michigan, so that's what we'll say today.
What do you think the identity of this team is going to be? You got some star power at the top. You had a lot of success last year. What are you hoping to see early on from this group of guys?
The identity of any team is always formed throughout the season. I mean, we'll have our adversities and our struggles, and we'll get punched in the face, and I'm excited for us to have all of that happen because that's really the response to that is going to shape who we are and ultimately how far we go.
Cam kind of relevantly said he was about 85% from this shoulder surgery. I guess how do you see him? How kind of see him kind of progress from that injury, and what are your expectations from him for opening day?
Yeah, Cam's superpower is his competitive fire and his ability to perform in the clutch, as we all know. But he is progressing very well since it's just throwing arm, throwing shoulder. But he's throwing the ball. He's on a throwing progression. He's extending every day, every week. So he'll be right now on track to be 100% full tilt, ready to go for opening day.
He didn't steal many bases last season. Is that kind of the same plan for this season, or that to be determined?
Probably to be determined. You know, he tore his labrum sliding into third, game 4 of the season last year against Presbyterian, and even though he fought us on it, we wouldn't allow him to get a bigger lead than 6 feet after that. So he had to go back in standing up and said no stealing, no head first diving, no running into the fence. And of course he didn't listen for the running into the fence part. But we tried to minimize any injury prone type movement.
Yeah, Coach,
so
I'm your new wide receiver too.
I saw that, Jazz. Look, that closing speed is legit, baby.
Come on now.
I know. God, he could probably play in the NFL too. But yeah, so with Cam, we'll see how it all looks, how it all feels. He's going to want to run because he's aggressive and competitive. But well, I guess to be determined.
What are some of the candidates to fill out your rotation behind Aiden?
Good question. We got some guys that have done it before, obviously, with Ethan Darden. We have some emerging guys like Jacob McGovern, Justin Legurnick, and then we have some new players like Dane Muller, who's kind of like Aiden was last year, very advanced for a freshman. So it's hard to, it's hard to just stamp it and say it's going to be a freshman. But Dane certainly, of all the freshmen, is really elevated himself. And then we have a transfer, Michael Gillen. But I think the strength of the pitching staff, we have plenty of guys who are starting candidates, but working back to front and have Lucas Malstadt and Reed Garris back in the back, who are veterans with closing and high leverage relief experience, certainly to shorten a game gives us a lot of confidence.
Figure out how you handle those first 2 games in Texas. Stay at the hotel, go back.
I mean, it'd probably be at the hotel bar. No, I don't know. I will. That's a joke. Or is it?
Or is it?
Yeah. I'm not allowed in the stadium, I think. So I have to talk to Hennessy. Can I go in the booth with you? Come over here. You never get any camera time. Come here. Come on. You're so good at your job. Come here. No? All right. Can I go in the press booth with you? We got to get it cleared. So I'll either be with Hennessy or I'll be in the hotel.
Erik, you talk so much about superpowers. What do you think this team's superpower could be?
Certainly the depth. Feels like we've got a deep roster, on both sides of the ball, hitting and pitching. But that also is a threat because playing time and roles, we'll be fair, but we can't be equal. And so making sure everyone keeps their energy on the team and pulling the rope in the same direction. That's a big threat going into the season. Is we got a lot of guys that probably feel like they're good enough, and they are good enough to be an everyday player in the lineup, but it's going to be difficult to write out 9 names in that lineup every day.
What's next for Aiden? To have the success he had last year, to now take the next step somehow, some way. What do you challenge him going into this season?
Actually, it's a little bit of the reverse of that. The challenge is to the reminder, same as Cam last year, what made you good to begin with? And once you start thinking about repeating an All-American type season and starting to think about repeating the awards and the accolades and the things you can't control, that's the trap. That's the poison that you don't want to eat. So The thing that has made Aiden great is he is very routine oriented and very consistent with that routine, and very regimented and disciplined. He journals, he note takes, he watches video. He's very much a student of the game and of the mental game, and those were all separators for him last year. And so just following that progression and allowing himself to be consistent. Now, he's got the physical ability, so he certainly doesn't need to put the target on any of the awards or accolades he'll get. Those will come naturally.
Where's the freshman pitcher Bell? Talon Bell? Wasn't he hurt?
Where's the what?
How is Talon Bell? Is that how you say it?
Oh yeah, Talon Bell.
How's
Yeah.
he progressed?
I mean, what a special talent! Gatorade Player of the Year in Florida last year out of high school. Just to get him was a big win in the recruiting battle. He had a elbow surgery, the brace, but he's progressing. He's throwing bullpens. He'll be ready to go somewhere in the early part of the season. But special talent, left-handed pitcher, tremendous feel, multiple pitches for strikes, lightning bolt in his body. He's not a big statured kid, but he's got a bolt of lightning in there, and he'll be a heck of a player for us when it's all said and done.
With how consistent Luke Gaffney was hitting last year at Purdue, how much of an immediate impact do you think he can make in the lineup this year, especially like losing good hitters like Blake Wright and Tristan Smith to the MLB?
You know, it's honestly why the transfer portal, as a coach, you still want to build your roster with high school players and develop high school players and have those 3 and 4 year relationships with people. But when you have gaps to fill and holes to plug, and we lose 70-something home runs and we need some instant offense, the transfer portal and guys who did it at the Power 4 level and have those credentials, there's always that wonderment of what is a freshman really going to do, because his stats don't really translate. You don't really know the level of competition, but knowing the level of competition for Luke Gaffney or Colin Priest or Dom Listy or Josh Pano, you feel pretty good about the impact that they can make, assuming that they come in and work hard and buy into all the team stuff, and which they have and they will. So you feel good that they could step right in and make an impact.
How do you blend a team that is built with high school recruits with some 1 or 2 year transfer portal guys?
It's always centered around loving the team more than you love your individual role, which is much easier said than done because everybody wants to step in and play, but it's a 40-man roster and a 9-man lineup, and everybody's just not going to play. But getting them as team-oriented as they can and truly caring about the guy to their left and guy to their right and pulling for them and wanting the team's success is the recipe. It's just how we get there takes every day of the entire off-season and preseason.
I guess when you look at the DH spot, is someone like Colin Priest or Tristan Bissetta, like who are the guys you think you slot in there?
Yeah, I mean, we would probably just look at from a defensive priority in the up-the-middle defense, and then the best bats that go off of that, and then whoever the best bat is remaining. But all those guys that you mentioned, and if somebody needs a day, is not throwing that day, or whatever the case may be, it could be a lefty-righty matchup. But we're going to juggle the lineup a lot, I would guess, the first 4 weeks of the season, and then by the time we get to conference play, hope to have a little bit of some stability in the lineup. But I could see us rotating a lot of positions on the field early on, just to give guys opportunities and really see what's what.
Coach, how have you seen Andrew Chuko grow mentally and physically since his injury?
He's a tremendous leader. He's one of those guys that, whether you're in sport or you're in business, you want him in your organization. He's got a unique perspective because not only was baseball taken away from him, but he was staring down the barrel of never playing baseball again at a high level. And he made the decision to come back and use another year of eligibility instead of get that 6-figure job that he probably could have got with a Georgetown degree. And wants to be a kid a little bit longer, and he's got the rest of his life to get that job, and that high-paying job is he'll probably be one of those guys. He might work for somebody for a little while, but that's a guy he's going to be running his own business someday because of the leadership qualities that he possesses, and hopefully he gets an opportunity to keep playing baseball after this. But if not, he couldn't get a higher recommendation from me for any as a reference for any job seeker looking for a high character person to step in and work hard.
Coach, you love speaking about the fun and job like baseball, and obviously live it out yourself with the Savannah Bananas weigh-in and the pitcher's mound and this partnership today.
You saw that?
Yeah, that was great. I think a lot of people were probably impressed as well. What do you think is the role of fun, and how does that fuel the performance and improve the performance of the team when everybody's out there having fun, enjoying themselves?
Yeah, if we're working backwards, and the ultimate goal is to win a national championship, but in order to perform at the biggest stage with the brightest lights and the highest stakes and the most pressure, you have to go back to when this game was very simple. And that's why we nicknamed the field the playground, because it was mommy watch me, daddy watch this. You weren't thinking about the launch angle off of the swing set or the mechanics of the monkey bars. You just went for it. You played mentally free. And to be able to allow our guys to play mentally free, they have to remember what it was like playing on the small field, what it was like where their reasons for playing were centered around their love of baseball and love having fun with their friends. And if we can return to that, we'll get their best performance on the field, where it means a lot to a lot of people. But getting them to play with that smile on their face and feel free to make mistakes, just make them going fast. It's going to fuel the success of the team and the enjoyment of it while it's happening. So that's the main reason why, is to get them to have a little bit more fun playing baseball, because their best baseball will be a byproduct of it.
You've moved the
Walk us through what's been done and what will happen.
Yeah, so the upgrades, you're standing on it. This is all synthetic turf. So we had those concrete wings that would get dirty as hell and look terrible. And the natural grass, it was high traffic area, get worn out. So not only does the turf look better and stay maintained, but we can now use this as a development area. We can take ground balls, we can do speed and agility, we can do whatever. So there's a functionality from a more training rep standpoint. We'll never turf the field, because this is Clemson and we want that traditional grass dirt feel, but the turf in foul territory gives us a lot of more options in training. The biggest thing, if you look over there, we moved the visiting team bullpen out onto foul territory. So forever and ever, it seems like opposing teams, they might have had massage tables over there. They fed grapes and olive branches. I mean, it was the most comfortable, gigantic bullpen, the easiest place to go be an opposing pitcher. And now we went 180 from that, and hopefully make it one of the toughest places to be an opposing pitcher. There's not much room. That whole area that was the visiting team bullpen is now more of a beer garden, and that's a standing room only ticket. We're going to be selling beer this year, which is huge. We want the rowdy crowd, we want the beer drinking crowd, we want people to come out here and have a blast, and the opposing pitchers are going to have to get warm right in front of that section. So I'm excited to see how that looks. Hennessy, did I say too much there? Should I not have? Talk about it later. Okay.
So yes.
What's that?
So that means yes. Said
Yes.
too much.
I did. I said too much.
Coach, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Danny Vasquez, CS99 TV Media.
Pottstown, baby. Come on out here. Ask your question out here.
I got one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Who is the best youth travel baseball team in the country?
Pottstown. Hands down. Pottstown University.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all, guys. Thanks.
He set me up.
Josh Castellani's a guy you've mentioned a couple times.
Yep.
In interviews. Why is he a freshman that stood out?
His physical talent certainly stands out. 6'5", but you think a guy like that, shortstop, third baseman in high school, eventually moved to first, but he's athletically shown the defensive ability to not only stay at third, but play a very good third base. Left-handed hitter with power. Still baby face, still have a lot of developmental room to grow and get stronger. So it just looks like a kid that has come into the program already at a high level with another huge gap of growth from a ceiling standpoint.
Coach, what does it mean to you?